All right, I'm going to talk about the false grip a little bit. Over the past 6 months, or actually since the USC incident, the false grip keeps popping up. Every time I look online, everybody's talking like it's a bad thing. And it's not a bad thing at all. It's just, I think people don't know how to use it. And I do understand that there are certain dangers to it, especially if they don't use it correctly, if they don't know what they're doing. But it's not an evil grip. It's no different than, any other grip that you're going to use, be it close grip, wide grip, reverse grip, or whatnot. The false grip is just another way to bench, and it has its advantages, and it's going to have some disadvantages as well, the same as any other grip. I'm sure that more injuries have happened with a full grip than have a false grip. So when people start speaking about injuries, I would debate that point. I'm not saying that the false grip is superior. I'm just saying it's kind of getting a bad rap because a lot of people, I feel, don't know what the hell they're talking about. So with the false grip, some of the advantages that it has is, to step back a little bit, I used a full grip for years and ended up with a lot of injuries, and I'm not going to say it's because of the full grip. A lot of them were overused and stupidity. But when I came to Westside back in early 90s, one of the first things that Louis had me do, and this was after having my pec reattached, was to switch to a false grip, because what that would allow me to do is to tuck harder and put more strain on my triceps and arms and take a lot of the stress off my shoulders and pecs. When your pecs are tore up and have been reattached, it's kind of hard to rely on them for any pressing power because they're pretty much shut down. So the other thing at that time was almost everybody in the gym was using a false grip because of that reason, because it incorporated more tricep, it allowed for actually a little bit wider grip, which I'll show you, and it shortened the distance that the bar would travel. Over years, with the more radical the bench shirts have become, it would be foolish anymore to try to use a false grip with the shirts that are out there now. You just have to bring the bar too low and you'll dump it for sure. There's no doubt in my mind that you'll dump it for sure. The false grip actually saved my bench press, I should say, and put years on. Before I came to Westside, my best bench was 520, tore my pec, had the surgery, and ended up benching over 600 with a very near miss at the top with a 700. So, and all of those except for the very last one were with a false grip. The very last one was using a gangster shirt, so I had to use a full grip because of that reason. With the false grip, what you need to keep in mind is with a full grip, when you squeeze your hand, if you were to squeeze a piece of foam, a sponge, or anything, and squeeze as hard as you can, you're going to find when your thumb is squeezing around the bar, you're going to feel your pecs are going to be flexing harder. That's why the full grip is going to incorporate more pec than what a false grip will. If you try to squeeze your hand as hard as you can, but just use your pinky fingers to do the majority of the squeezing, you're going to find that your triceps are flexing harder. Thus the reason for the false grip. So to properly do a false grip, what happens most of the time that I see is, people do, for lack of a better word, what I call the football bench press, which is where you'll see, they're not tight to begin with, and they take the bar out and they're doing some kind of let's get jacked up and get started movement at the beginning of the bench before they bring it down. If you're a beginner and you're going to try to use a false grip and you're doing stuff like that, you deserve to have your teeth busted out. So that's what you want to avoid. The false grip is not for beginners, it's for advanced lifters. If you're going to set up to use a false grip, the first thing that you need to do is to make sure you're digging your hand in the bar as hard as you possibly can. So I'm digging it like I'm going to do a full grip. And then I will wrap the hands around the bar as hard as I can. And then the very last thing I'll do, and this is hard to do, is to pull my thumbs under. And then squeeze my hands or my fingers down as hard as I possibly can. Pull the bar out. That puts me in a position where the bar is in line with my wrist and it allows for an easier tuck coming down, which is going to put less strain on the shoulders, less strain on the pecs, and more work onto the arms. If you try to do a false grip and you're going to take it out without being tight on the bar, just a loose grip here, like that, as most people do, you can already see the bars moving around. If that's the case, once again, you deserve to have your teeth knocked out. So you have to, it's extremely important to dig it in. Years ago, one of the reasons why we used the false grip as well is a competition grip says that this line has to be covered when you bench press. If the back judge can see the line of the bar, this would be an illegal grip, so it would be turned down. With a full grip, the widest I could get my grip would be here. Now if I was to use a false grip, now my thumb can cover the line, so I'm still within the rules, but if this were to become a full grip, you can see the grip is now pretty close to ½ inch, maybe even closer to an inch wider per side. So the wider the grip, the shorter the distance the bar has to travel. So in summary, with the false grip, you have to dig the hand in as hard as you can, then flip the thumb out. Many times if you have tight wrist wraps on, you'll need your lift-off guy or training partner to help to pull the thumb out so you can maintain the tight tension on the bar. I'm breathing hard just from grabbing the bar here. To do a loose false grip is not a proper false grip. That's just being stupid and being an idiot. A false grip, in a lot of my training logs, you'll see I'm going to use a false grip with some of the fat bars. The reason for that is I can't hold the bar very well when it's a 2 and 3 inch fat bar. It actually feels like it will fall out of my hands and feels like my thumb's going to break off because the bar is too fat for my hands. So once again, I will tuck under and squeeze the bar as hard as I possibly can. But please keep in mind in my training videos, when I am doing a false grip with any of those fat bars, the goal, so to say, isn't so much strength, which is why you're going to see lighter weight used and higher reps. The goal and the reason why I'm using that fat bar is to increase the displacement in my hand, which is going to be less pressure on my elbows and shoulders. It was once explained to me that if you had, a woman step on your hand, or a guy who's wearing stiletto heels, that pressure is going to be very localized into one spot, so the pain is going to increase. Now, if somebody were to step on the same hand wearing a thick, wide boot, that pressure is going to be dispersed throughout the full arm and the shoulders. Scientifically, I don't know what the hell happens when you're using a fat bar. I just know that it feels better on my joints. Once again, the reason for the false grip there is I can't really effectively do a full grip, but you will see there are always spot pins set up close by, and I won't push, to failure, and I won't do real heavy singles or triples, even if I do have spotters using a false grip with a fat bar, because that would be stupid and idiotic.